Start recording. Okay, so let us get going. So the principle is clear development, like our Morphy used to do, right? Paul Morphy, right? I mean, not just him, there were others also. Okay, there comes Anj. So we have our quorum. So yep, so today's topic is how to drive both. So we are going to look at advantage in development, both in the opening. So we'll see some examples. We'll also see in end game how it matters, how to play forcefully, right? Whenever there is a chance and you can play forcefully and you can dictate, it is important that you play it even in middle game, because what happens is you may have an advantage, and unless you take benefit of it, immediately play, the advantage might go away immediately within one move also, right? It may happen. So we'll see it. So starting with a game by the great Rudolf Spielmann. Rudolf Spielmann was also a top attacking player. He has written a book, famous book. He was like in the early part of the 20th century. Okay, maybe 1900 to 1925, something. That was his time era, or maybe 1910 to 1935. I don't know, something like that. So he has written a book called as The Art of Sacrifice. It's a wonderful book. So if you are interested, you can check out that book. So yeah, so let us get going. So let us see how he's almost all attacking players are naturally good in development. So we'll see it how he plays it. Okay. So e4, e5, nc3. This is Vienna opening. This, it may look as if oh, what is this opening? White is, instead of attacking, white is defending the pawn. But actually, this opening has got a lot of attacking potential, because the idea is anyone plays this Vienna? F4. Yeah, F4 is the idea. White wants to stabilize.
But I don't really play it.
Right. So white wants to stabilize his e pawn, but immediately before knight f3, he wants to get f4 in, and then using that f4, then he will exchange that pawn with e pawn and have the open file, and then want to attack. So after that, after f4, then he will play knight f3. That is white's idea. Okay, so let us see how it happens. Black plays knight f6, which is quite common, and white immediately goes for f4. Okay, so now the black, if he captures the pawn, e takes f, it's a bad move, because white will immediately get e5. e5 drive away the knight, then probably play knight f3, and then followed by d4. So he will have d4 and e5 pawns, and this f pawn anyway will fall because the bishop will be attacking it and it will not survive, but white will get very good attacking chances. So instead, so that is why never capture this pawn, the side pawn, using your central pawn. Rather than that, you move your central pawn. This is good move. Okay, d5. So now white plays f takes e5, and black takes knight takes e5. These are all good. Knight takes e4. Sorry, good moves. Absolutely no problem.
The previous position looked like Almond counter gambit.
Not Albin. It looked like probably Falkbeer, right? Falkbeer counter gambit in King's Gambit. e4, e5, f4, d5 kind of thing. Albin counter gambit is d4, d5, c4, e5, right?
That's in the queen's pawn opening.
Yeah, it's a queen pawn opening. But this is very close to Falkbeer in the King's Gambit. Okay, so white plays f e5, black plays knight takes e4. This is good. This is good. White plays knight f3. You have to play this, huh? Absolutely. And because the moment knight has moved, now the queen can come and give a check. So you don't have time to play something like d4 now. First, you should secure your king by playing knight f3. What happens if you don't play this? Ask me. I paid the price with Srishti. So she really, I just played another move. Not exactly in this position, but I delayed knight f3 and I got really whacked. Okay, so you have to play. If you are playing f4, right, then you have to play knight f3. Otherwise, you have to be ready to move out the bishop and then play king f3, king f1 safely if you are ready to play. That is what. Anyway, so that is a side conversation. So bishop to g4 so far looks good. Absolutely good. No problem. This is good developing move from the black side also. White plays queen e2. White plays queen e2. and black plays knight to c5. So what is white's idea? White's idea is he can sometimes trick black into queen to b5 check and then take the b7 pawn. Okay, so those kind of tricks are there. So what does black play? Black plays knight to c5, and this is considered as suspect. Okay, better was that for black to exchange the knights. Knight takes c3, and then maybe play I don't know, maybe play knight c6 also, or yeah, knight c6 would probably be okay, I think. So something like that. So here, but knight plays c5, and then white gets a tempo, free tempo. White gets d4. Right, so this is d4. Now also, what theory suggests that black should go to e6, knight should go to e6, and
So,
yeah,
so why doesn't the queen go to b5 and give a check?
why doesn't queen go to b5 check? You will get c6. The knight is
Yes,
still
sir.
defended. Knight c5 is defended, and it is defending the b7 pawn. So you will lose the tempo if you go to b5. Right. So d4, and black gets first. Black thinks that this exchange is good. Actually, it may not be good because holding that pin was better for black and going to knight to e6. But now with this, what is happening is no longer pin, and queen has got a nice attacking diagonal along the f file, and f file is open. So white may get a good chance to attack down the f file. So we'll see. So black plays, black had a, yeah, black is greedy. Black thinks that he's going to win a pawn. So queen h4, g3, queen takes d4. Queen takes d4. Okay, so now what should white play?
Bishop e3.
Yep, bishop e3 is a very good move. Developing at the same time, attacking the queen, and allowing queen to capture one more pawn. But if he captures it, he can be in deadly territory because he is going to be in front of his king on the open file, and white has got a, so that is what black does. Okay, but better was queen to b4, but black accepts the second pawn, and now his position becomes critical because white castles queen side. White castles queen side. So white is threatening multiple things, including bishop takes c5, bishop takes c5, rook takes d5, followed by rook taking the bishop back. Right? So bishop, see, there is a threat. Bishop takes c5, black bishop will capture, white rook will capture on d5, attack the queen and the bishop at the same time. Right? So there are things like that. So there are many.
So then if that happens, just queen e7.
Sorry?
If that happens, just queen e7, defending the knight.
Queen e7, then what will happen is the other bishop will go to b5 check. Okay, and then followed by rook h to e1, pinning the queen against the king.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So at this point, black reinforces his d5 pawn, and now black thinks that he has stabilized and he has got a white will take two moves to get his rook onto e1, but before that black is planning to put bishop e7 and probably queen f6. Right, that is what is black is intending, so that it is not this one. So let us see what happens. But black,
So knight takes d5, bishop b5 check.
Yep.
Rook
So there
pins
is a
the queen.
sacrifice now. White is so much ahead that he can sacrifice the knight. Knight takes d5 and c takes d5. And even before bishop to b5, white rook first of all plays rook takes d5. Okay. So now white has sacrificed a piece. Pawns are equal, but white has sacrificed a piece. Now, but black's king is in terrible position, open board, and white is fully developed. So the two bishops are deadly, and the other rook is also going to, second rook is also coming to the party. So what to do now for black in this position? First of all, white can very easily win back the piece now, because once the queen moves, you can take back the knight, and what do you call? If the bishop takes it, again rook can again take it back, right? And further, queen will be attacking the p7 pawn. So lot of attack is there for white, and if he wants to get back material, very easy. Can
Queen
you think of a
c7.
move for black?
Queen c7.
Queen c7. Yeah, queen c7 is yep. So queen c7. What would white do? Bishop to b5 check. Bishop to b5 check.
Then knight d7.
Knight to d7. Yeah, knight to d7, and then the other rook will come to e1.
Long castle.
Long castle.
Oh yeah, long castle.
Interesting. I think we should check this out probably. Okay, but shall we check it out? Maybe we will check it out on a board. But let us see what happens in the game, and then we will go on. Okay, black played queen to e6, but he got completely whacked with this because white developed his bishop again with tempo, and this is terrible for black. Right? Maybe I like your idea. Queen c7 probably was slightly better. Okay, queen e6 will see what happens. Now it is finished because queen to e4 white plays, but what does he play? White simply played bishop takes c5. Okay, he's saying that okay, let us see what happens. Even if you want to take my queen, fine. I will come back rook to e1, and it is basically getting over there. Right? I mean, you will have to sacrifice your queen, and after that, it is still going to be checkmate. So you can't take my queen. But what do you do now? Now your queen is defenseless. The best part for black is to somehow, what can black do here? Nothing, right? I mean, even if it takes the queen, he's getting checkmated. So, but we'll see what happens if you had played queen to c7. Yeah, here everybody sees, I mean, it is over, game over. Because black's queen's defender has been taken away. So black queen cannot hold the position. Now it has to go to some secure position. But the moment queen moves anywhere, even if he takes the queen, white queen on f3, rook e1 is coming. So that is game over. Right. Okay, so now let us go back to the analysis board and see what could have happened. e4, e5, nc3, nf6, f4, d5, fe5, knight e4, knight f3, bishop g4, queen e2, and then what did
So the knight moved back.
Knight moved back to c5.
knight to c5, d4, bishop f3, queen f3, queen h4 check, g3, queen d4, bishop e3, queen e5, white castles,
c6.
c6,
c6.
knight to d5, e d5, rook d5. Okay, we were saying queen to c7, right?
Yeah.
Queen to c7. So let us say if we play bishop to b5 first.
Knight d7.
Knight d7.
Yeah.
Then bishop takes b5.
Bishop takes bishop.
Then rook takes d7.
Short castle.
Short castle, queen.
Oh wait, yeah, sorry, sorry, my bad. Yeah.
You can't long castle here.
Yeah. It's terrible. It is
Queen
also
a7.
huh? Where?
Queen a7. Queen a5.
Queen a5. Queen a5. Then
Yeah, now it's gone. It's
Gone, right?
no, it's just queen takes f7 checkmate.
Yeah, it is queen takes f7 is checkmate.
Could you back up a bit instead of knight d5? Sorry, knight d7. How about
This
knight
knight going back.
c6?
This knight going back.
Yeah.
This knight going back. Right? That is what is better. So maybe that is why white should probably first take this knight and then take bishop to b4. Yeah? Then play bishop to b5.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now you will take to do this. Now I am playing this. Bishop to b5. It's going to be terrible only, right? I mean, it is. There is no way that this king will survive this.
Yeah, after king f8, then there's rook d7.
Yeah, there is rook d.
Oh,
No,
no, the knight.
not knight now, because the knight
Knight
is
takes.
there. Knight is there, so it is not this one.
Rook e1
Yeah, rook e1 itself is a thing, or even
or rook f1.
rook f1,
not
rook
rook
e1,
f1.
rook d1. All of them create serious threats, right? Yeah, rook f1. Probably I would say rook f1, because then I will take the on c5 first. Rook takes c5 and divert the queen, and then deliver checkmate on f6, f7. Right? So rook f1 is very strong. Right? Rook f7 is very strong. Rook e1 is also very strong, threatening rook to e8 check. Right? Knight cannot come to d7 because rook will take it. Knight comes to c6, then the bishop on c5 will fall. Right? So it is terrible. It is. See, rook e1 is also very strong. Anyway, I think you got it. I think the attack is too good, too powerful attack actually. This one. So fine. So I had started recording, right? Yeah, I have started. Okay. So let us. This was an excellent game by Spielmann, and if you look at his collection, you'll have many such games. He was a very famous attacker, sacrificial attacker. So enjoyable games. You can watch it. Okay. Now next is an endgame position. Look at this. I think this is very simple. I think all of you will realize this. If we, what is your analysis of this position?
Whoever plays
Oh,
first
right.
wins.
Whoever plays first wins.
Yeah.
Whoever
Exactly.
plays first wins.
Correct. Because you cannot be wasting time with your king moves, etc. You have to push the pawn by 2 squares, and the other king cannot enter your square of the pawn. So you will run down and you will make your pawn into a queen. And because the pawns are such that they are at the diagonal endpoints, whoever first wins, the other side will not be able to win. So if it is white to play, h4 wins. If it is black to play, then a5 wins. Right? Whoever. So again, important thing is that never waste time in such a case. You have to play forcefully. Now, suppose if it is white to play, and if you play something h3 or even king g3, or even if he plays king to f3, for example, which can potentially he can enter black's square of the pawn.
Then it would probably be a draw.
Then probably it will be a draw, and sometimes it may still happen that black may win. So that is why, I mean, you should not waste time in these things. Okay, so I mean, the next position is just the reverse. I mean, black to play, so we'll not see this. Okay, now we will see one more game again, where the how this principle comes into. So let us check it. E4, E5, NC3, NF6, NF3. Okay, bishop to B4. And then, so black is somewhere, I mean, probably black should have defended his pawn. Okay, it would, 4 knights game is very good for black. I mean, there is absolutely no problem. So he could have played knight to c6, but knight to bishop to b4 is also okay. There is nothing wrong, but it creates complications and things. So white goes knight e5, and black queen goes to e7. So white knight drops to d3. Okay. So what another possibility for black was to castle, because if he had moved his bishop out, it is perfectly okay for black to castle here, and then white will have to give up the pawn again. Okay, so it is not that white can win the pawn because the rook is coming to e8. So there is going to be so something like this if it had happened, and then d6, it is quite okay. Sorry, d5, it is quite okay for black. Okay, so this way he could have played, but he played queen to e7, which may not be the best move. We'll see what happens. So white drops back with the knight, and so black takes this knight, d takes c3, queen takes e4 check, but white says very nice. Okay, bishop to e2. I am developing, and your queen being in front of your king is going to become a problem. But black is a bit greedy, so black takes this pawn. Now it is in danger, right? Even now black should have probably castled, and then white would have also castled, and d6 and bishop f3 and queen h4. This would have been okay. There is nothing, no problem as such. Equality, slight advantage for both. But instead, black grabbed a pawn on bishop to e2. Black grabbed a pawn. So look at this typical pattern. Whenever sometimes it may happen to you also. So in such a case, bishop from e2 can go to f3 and indirectly defend the rook on h1. Okay, so black queen has got no option other than going to yeah, you can drop back on the g file. It's not that it is not there. There are options there, but only to queen to g6 you can go to, and then also probably white knight will harass the black queen. So now also same thing happens.
Does the queen get trapped?
It doesn't get trapped, but something worse happens. So queen, so now queen goes to h4. Queen goes to h4, and now white comes with his own queen to e2. Okay, so see now, so when black was giving the check, white could defend, white could get his bishop to e2, right, and then develop, and he was not in a bad position. But here black does not have much to put or defend the pin with, so he has to move the king. He has to move the king, and even within the thing in such position, remember it is better in such positions to move the king to d8 rather than f8. Okay, because see, most of the time we are used to not moving the king to d1 or d8, but in such positions it is better to slightly better to go to d8, because at least your rook, you are allowing him to come on the open e5, right, and that will be slightly better. Now instead the king goes on f8, and it is almost finished after this. Okay, so f8. So what does
B3 and
Queen c4.
Queen c4 now? Queen c4. Okay, what is the idea of queen c4? There is a discovered
Knight
check.
g6.
Yeah, knight g6 or knight e6, and then picking up the queen, right? And at the same time, c7 is also under attack. So black defends his queen. Okay, black defends his queen, but queen takes c7. Now it has become really problematic. So now, first of all, white is threatening to take the bishop and give a check. So black knight moves to a6, at least defends that bishop, but white allows white to play queen to d6 now. Queen to
Sir,
d6.
couldn't,
Sorry?
sir, couldn't the black king done king to g7?
Yeah, so now you could come to, you could first itself, you could come to g7, not a problem. I think that is what was anyway necessary, but black just thought it would have been better, I think, certainly better to come to g7 right away at least. But then what happens is rook comes to g1, and then starts operations down the g file will get opened. So here black tries knight a6 first, but it doesn't help. Queen d6 forces black king to come to g7 because he has to protect the knight. So king comes to g7, and now very cool, bishop to e3. What is white's idea? White's idea is that he is going to castle down the queen side and then get the rook on g1, and the king is going to get very finished there on the g5. Right now you cannot even take the knight. If you take the knight, then immediately rook comes to g1. Right. So black played rook to e8, pinning the bishop, but doesn't really help. White takes queenside castle, and almost the game is over. I mean, black resigned, but you can play, but it is going to become rook is going to come to g1, and that file is going to get opened, and it is going to become game over very, very soon. Bishop can also come to d4, and then the knight is also going to be under severe, what do you call? Knight is going to be pinned and probably getting one also. So too many threats from the white side, and white is very completely fully developed, got his both rooks into active position, and black king is really in a terrible position, right? Rook cannot come to e6, king cannot come to g6, right? If you take the knight, then the g file opens up. Right? So again, an example of a thing where grabbing the pawn proved to be too dangerous for black, and white's advantage in development proved this one. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next example. Yeah, this is a famous example, beautiful example. And so this is a game between Vidmar and Max Euwe. Max Euwe, if you know, was the world champion for 2 years, between 1935 and 37. He defeated Alekhine, but then lost again. The second return match, he lost to Alekhine. But he was an excellent player. He was a mathematician also. So he was playing black, but Vidmar was also a strong player. So here, Vidmar demonstrated. See, look at this position, and it looks complicated position, but white finds a very forcing sequence of move which completely wins. And there is hardly any this one. So what does white start with? So first of all, black
94, knight f3.
Knight
f3.
Knight f3. Okay. Knight f3 would have been a kind of defensive move, or this one, but
Bishop e4.
Yeah, bishop e4 white starts with. Now see that bishop, the battery.
How about knight takes rook?
Knight takes rook, then queen takes g2, checkmate.
Oh. Okay.
So, but the same battery, which is so powerful, gets now reversed. It is like turning the gun backwards. Now queen cannot move anywhere because the other bishop will drop. So rook is forced to take this bishop, right? If queen does anything else, then the bishop on b7 will fall, and not only that, it will attack another rook. So it is just like turning the gun in the hand. So no option for black other than taking this. But then white takes back while getting a discovered check again, not discovered check, discovered attack against the queen. Okay. So what can black do? Black can really grab the pawn, and which is what he does. He can do what else he can do. Even if he goes, there is hardly any square that he can go to safely. Right? If he moves, then again rook to d6 is coming. So he grabs this pawn on f5, but not
Knight takes d6.
Huh? Yeah, now knight takes
d6.
Knight takes d6. Okay. Then black is also not, black thinks that he has enough counterplay. What is the idea? Black takes bishop takes g2 check. king g2 is practically forced. Rook c2. Okay, and rook c2 and king goes to h1. And now queen plays f4, threatening to checkmate white on h2. And it's not easy to see what is going on.
Rook e8.
Rook e8 check.
And what is there after that?
And queen go king goes h7 and then queen d3 check.
Rook e8, then
So you can take the rook by giving a check at d3.
yeah, king h7, then queen, you can do queen d3. So king cannot really go to h7, right? So bishop f8.
Bishop.
Then
Oh, rook take.
rook takes what?
Rook takes bishop.
Yeah, rook takes bishop.
Rook takes
is a-
bishop and then knight f5 check.
Yeah,
And then knight
king takes f8, knight f5. Okay, discovered check. King goes to g8. Now what?
rook d8.
Now rook d8, king h7. Now
Oh,
you don't
queen
have
f8 and then queen f8 and then rook d8.
Ah, that is the thing. That is the beautiful part of this combination.
Wow.
Queen f8, fatal attraction. This is called as. So king has to take the queen on f8. King cannot go to h7 now because queen g7 is checkmate. So king has to take it. But now you see, king takes f8. Now rook to d8 is checkmate. There is absolutely no option for black to do anything. And he had a very powerful threat of queen to h2 checkmate. Right? So beautiful combination.
Yes.
So yeah. So this. Okay. So what do we do? I think less than 3 minutes are left. So what we will take a small break and join back. Okay, another maybe 20 minutes or so I will finish. All right. So we will see some more examples and then we will conclude. So let us take a small break and join back. All right. I'm going to stop the recording.
Okay, sir. Bye.